All right, folks, we are live again. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. There are protests against Daddy Trump. Don't be afraid. Well, maybe you should be afraid because it seems like the entire nation is turning against him. Trumpism seems to be dying a slow death. Too slow. But welcome back. Make sure you smash that like button when you get into the room. We got massive protests against Trump going on. Here at Pangburn, we are promoting the anti-Trump tour and the anti-RFK Jr. tour. We got one of the most popular political debate streamers in the world in Destiny, Stephen Bonnell, going out on tour. And we have one of the more popular anti-science debunkers on YouTube in Dave Farina. So Professor Dave Explains partnered with none other than Dr. Dan Wilson. These guys are going to be taking down RFK Jr. on the road, and Destiny's going to be starting with taking down Trump on the road. So this is fantastic. Gary's Rival says, I was just at a Jacksonville hands-off protest. Well, awesome. Cheers. Here is my coffee fuel to you. We need more people like you getting out there, getting active. But why are people opposing Donald Trump? Well, let's read some information here. As of April 5th, 2025, hey, that's today. Nationwide, hands-off protests are underway across the United States, opposing policies enacted by President Donald Duck and his advisor, Elon Musk. Organized by a coalition of over 150 groups, including civil rights organizations, labor unions, LGBTQ+ advocates, veterans, and election activists, more than 1,200 demonstrations are planned in all 50 states. And we just announced our anti-RFK Jr. Tour featuring two of the best anti-science debunkers on the planet yesterday. So yeah, it's like we're hitting this from all angles, and I love it. The largest gathering is taking place on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., where thousands have convened despite overcast skies and light rain. We're not afraid of rain. Organizers anticipate over 20,000 attendees at this central rally. Protesters are voicing opposition to what they describe as the administration's authoritarian overreach and policies favoring the wealthy. In response to the anticipated demonstrations, First Lady Melania Trump postponed the White House Spring Garden tours. Oh no! Originally scheduled for today to April 6th, citing safety concerns due to the proximity of the protests. Internationally, solidarity protests are occurring in European cities such as Paris and Frankfurt, where hundreds have gathered to express their opposition to the Trump administration's policies. These protests follow a tumultuous week marked by significant stock market declines after President Trump's announcement of sweeping global tariffs on April 1st. We thought it was April Fools. No, it was just April Fool. Despite the economic fallout, the president has stated, my policies will never change. They're not going to change, folks. I won't change them. For live coverage of the hands-off protests in Washington, D.C., you can watch on ABC News or any other news outlet, or you can stick here with me and chill. Make sure you smash that like button. We're going to be chilling for a while here. But why are people so enraged? What authoritarian overstep? Well, how about like expansionist talks with the United States' closest allies, calling Canada 51st state, authoritarian, Greenland. How about the blatant extortion or attempted extortion of ally Ukraine while they're under war duress from Russia? Trump's best buddy, Vladimir Putin. How about that? Hello there, Moon Shoes. Make sure you guys smash the like button. We are live. We are also promoting the anti-Trump tour and the anti-RFK Jr. tour. These are debate tours where we are challenging Trump supporters and RFK Jr. supporters to step up to the debate stage and see if they can actually defend their ideas. So far, for the anti-Trump tour, we have 6 pro-Trump debaters that have stepped up to the plate. So we have 6 locked in for Destiny to be debating. And we've sold over 175 tickets for that event. So if you're in the Detroit area, join us for the first date of the anti-Trump tour. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets are $19. And all of the proceeds, any of the net, goes just towards funding these tours. We hope to take over and invade every single state in the United States of America. I have officially declared ideological war on the United States of America. If you want to know what that means, head over to the our main homepage on our YouTube channel here, and you'll see a video from myself outlining what that means. What up, Pangburn Erickson says, you love Trump. Tell me why you love Trump, or tell me what you love about Trump and why. Don't forget to give your justification for why you believe that. Every single Trump supporter that comes on here is absent any justification. Why is that? Because unfortunately, there is a cult capture happening within Trumpism where their justification, which they're embarrassed to say, is that because Trump said so. That feels dishonest to say because it is dishonest, but that tends to be the justification that you have for believing what you believe about Trump and anything good about Trump at this point. So you probably don't have any justification. You should probably be working on a more sound epistemology, a sound framework of knowledge so that you could understand why you believe what you believe politically. Step out of the cult capture of Trumpism. Don't get caught up in that. Okay. Also, at this point, you should probably be, if you're supporting Trump, understand that that's equivalent to supporting Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin at this point. That is equivalent. What their goals are, the way Putin thinks, the way the Kremlin operates, that is the Trump administration. That is Trump. There is very little difference there. I'm not saying Trump is actually paid and working for the Kremlin, working for Putin, but they literally are best pals. They operate the same because they are both bullies. This is what bullies do. They bully people, and they also try to bully people when they're under war duress, like Trump has done with Ukraine. Extortion, the probably one of the biggest stains on the United States in its history is what just happened when Trump tried to extort a $500 billion mineral deal from Ukraine in exchange for continued military support in their righteous defense of their sovereign land. Jim Beam says, making America great again. Yeah, apparently America is supposed to be being made great again, but I haven't seen anything. Dramus 1911, I don't see a point in talking to you since you decide that you wish to wage war. Well, an ideological war is where humanity luckily has trended, but we should be trending even more. We don't need to be dropping bombs anymore. We don't need to be violent. We need to engage in ideological combat on the debate stage, in the public debate square. That's where things need to be happening. That's what the anti-Trump tour, the anti-RFK Jr. tour, and my ideological war against the current United States is all about. This is a non-violent, peaceful, good faith, helpful discussion, nationwide discussion that needs to happen. I outline in my video that is currently, if you go to the youtube.com/Pangburn, you're going to see my video outlining the details about this ideological war. But we are going to be sending our ideological troops out, like Destiny, like Dave Farina, like Dr. Dan Wilson, out there to fight the good fight against anti-science and misinformation. That's what we're doing. John Smith says, ideological war sounds nuts. Well, you probably just don't understand that the war of ideas happens whether you like it or not. My idea as a philosopher is to playground this in a way so that we can play in the dialectic with people who hold stringent, seemingly unmovable ideas and beliefs, and give them a good faith, helpful interaction with those ideas. And by doing so in that way, I believe people become more movable. Why do I believe this? Because if Daryl Davis, the black man from the South, can go into the KKK belly of the beast and convince white supremacist KKK members, grand wizards, that their ideologies against black people are bogus by simply engaging in good faith, helpful, friendly dialogue, then it can be done with the cult captured Trumpers. It can be done, no question. So that's what's going on right now. We got the anti-Trump tour going out featuring Destiny Stephen Bonnell, and we got the anti-RFK Jr. tour going out. And that one's going to be specifically targeting the states. This is why we're starting in South Carolina, in Charleston. And I hope you guys join this invasion. But I want to read a few details here that we are invading South Carolina. It is a Republican stronghold. The most recent data indicates that about 92% of South Carolina's 2-year-olds have received at least one dose of the measles, mumps, rubella, MMR vaccine. State epidemiologist Linda Bell has expressed concern over this rate, noting that when vaccination coverage drops below 95%, which is at 92% now, communities are at risk for outbreaks. So we are going there to promote vaccinations. That's what we're doing. We're promoting vaccinations. We are waging war on anti-scientific, pseudoscientific, anti-vaxxer ideas. And we're doing it with two of the guys on YouTube, on the public stage, that I think are best suited to debunk this bogus misinformation. So and that's why I went with Dave Farina and Dr. Dan Wilson. I think these guys are tops when it comes to this kind of stuff. Hope you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of different intellectual debates and discussions on our channel. We're doing more live streams now. These events will be filmed and then later released on our channel. Destiny's event will be live streamed on his channel. So it's also a big opportunity for any Trumpers out there who want to step into the political debate stage and get a huge audience and huge exposure. If you have your own YouTube channel, as a conservative, as a Trumper, you're going to be able to promote it if you step onto the stage to debate Destiny, and there's going to be a huge audience, a lot of exposure. This is your chance to represent the ideas that you feel strong enough to come out even into this YouTube chat to defend Trump. Step into the debate circle. It's going to be a good faith, helpful conversation, and let's see if your ideas stand up. That's what Pangburn's always been about. So make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you smash that like button. Christopher Trupp says MAGA. O'Phanum says Trump. So Christopher Trupp, make America great again. Do you think Donald Trump is making America great again right now? If so, why? Why do you believe that? I want to know. I want to know your guys' justifications for why you believe this stuff. John Smith says, I love Trump. Why do you love Trump? I want to know why. Don't just proclaim I love Trump. Give me some reasons. Dance Monkey, you must work at Burger King. No, I don't. Bunch of cucks. Yeah, I hear this all the time. I hear no justification for why you believe what Trump is doing is good. All I hear is stuff like, oh, this guy's a cuck, or didn't Destiny suck some guy's dick? Like you're obsessed with that stuff, but you can't give me a justification for why you believe what Trump is doing is good. Yikes. Chris Cook says, this is a guy who thinks drag shows are good for kids. Are you talking about when drag queens read to children? You think that's dangerous for children? Do you think you might have some kind of bigoted bias against people in drag? You think it could be that? Would you also have been against homosexual males being teachers back when that was a problem? See, the thing is like there's always some like bigoted target of people who tend to be on the far right. Where if we look at history, it's like, yeah, it was when it's like, well, fine, we can stop bothering homosexuals and beating them up, but have them as teachers in front of our children? That's going to influence them to be gay. This is the same kind of thing that we see with how people treat trans people and other minorities. And like, what the hell? You understand that, like, reading. Are you going to start like saying that drag can't happen in live theater? Children shouldn't see drag in live theater? What are you talking about? Are you going to throw Mrs. Doubtfire in the garbage? Yikes. Secret Owl says, I love that you are doing this. Thanks. We need all the support we can get. You guys, please come out to the events. Even if you share the posters, share our live streams, do as much, help us promote these events as much as you can. We don't have the biggest budgets here at Pangburn, but we do what we can to get the word around, and we have bought some paid advertising and some flyer distribution and things like that. And I know the personalities have really been helping us get the word out there and spread the word. We are also going to be adding the anti-faith tour, so look out for that one. I'm going to be announcing the first date of that. I think I have, and I know a lot of you love this person, I think I have them agreed to the first anti-faith tour event, and this is going to be in opposition to this ridiculous pissing away of American tax dollars on this faith office because people like Trump and this crazy lady, I can't remember what her name is, who's been appointed to run this faith office, think that that Christians are being persecuted in a Christian dominant culture. Like, it's ridiculous. Christians are not being persecuted in the United States of America. That is absolutely ridiculous. And there's like Christian holidays that are the norm, that are like almost part of the secular norm as well. Like Christmas and Easter and all these different things. So like Christianity is deeply embedded in the culture, and there's a horrible issue of there being literally, it's said that there's a separation of church and state, but we see that being violated all the time, constantly. John Smith is obsessed. Vale Quest says Destiny is a girl's name. It can be a girl or a guy's name. Who cares? He's your frontline troop. Yeah, have you not seen all the badass females fighting in the Middle East and over in Ukraine right now? Are you really that stuck in some stupid tradition that like females can't fight or aren't worthy of being on the front lines? That's really ignorant and stupid. Gary's rival, all y'all calling him a loser without any platform have made smooth brains. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Every smash on the like button puts these posters for the anti-Trump tour and the anti-RFK Jr. tour in the face of people that probably don't want to see it. So smash that like button. Let's see. Trump is awesome. Pot of Greed, I think it was. Pot of Greed says Trump is awesome. What is Trump awesome at? Can you let me know, please? What is he awesome at? What and give me your justifications for believing that. Don't just say Trump is awesome and run away, please. Someone said, don't burn anything down, please. Yeah, nothing should be burnt down at all related to what I'm doing with my ideological war. This is a peaceful, non-violent, non-destructive in that sense. Destroying ideas, bad ideas is what I'm interested in. Bad ideas like anti-science, misinformation, disinformation, deeply immoral support of one of the most immoral leaders in history. Like, people have to realize at this point, Donald Trump's moral sense breaks down to, what can I get away with? Now, luckily, there's so much bureaucracy in the United States that you can't get away with a ton. You could still do a bunch of terrible, deplorable shit, like extorting Ukraine while they're under war duress. I just have to keep going back to that because it's an ugly stain, and it will remain an ugly stain on the history of the United States of America. But luckily, he can't get away with too much. I know some of you in the United States, I'm a Canadian, by the way, but I know some of you in the United States are like, well, I feel like he's gotten away with a lot. And yeah, in a sense he has, but luckily there are politicians standing up to him. Luckily, judges are smacking away his stupid executive orders. And it's a great thing. Chris Cook says, how's Destiny's marriage going? Asking for a friend. Ooh, not his marriage. Why don't you give me some justifications for why you believe Trump is good? You probably are a Trump supporter. So why don't you do that? Who cares about Destiny's marriage? I honestly could give two fucks about Destiny's personal life. I've got him hired on this tour because he's a fucking amazing debater and he knows his shit when it comes to debunking Trumpers and the utter stupidity that has created this cult-like madness in the United States. That's why I've hired him. That's why I've put him on this tour. Dothraki Danny says, lol, subscribe. No, gonna block it. Good luck in life, weirdos. What? You say you subscribed and then you're like, no? Get it straight, bro. Just subscribe. Don't be a, you know what. Your boy says, imagine thinking that the vaccine is still a talking point. Okay, do I really have to go over why this is important? You realize that RFK Jr. is the king, the overlord of anti-science, right? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has a long-standing history of promoting views that conflict with established scientific consensus, particularly concerning vaccines and public health policies. Vaccine misinformation. Ooh. And you realize that he was just put in a position as health secretary of the United States of America. I'm not even kidding when I say Alex Jones would probably be better and safer. Why? Because Alex Jones at least admits when he is stupid, or in his own words, retarded on certain things, and he defers to experts. I think Alex Jones is like probably the king of misinformation, but RFK Jr. gives him a run for his money. He literally does. And I think Alex Jones might even be a safer person in that position. I'm not even kidding about that. So vaccine misinformation. Kennedy has been a prominent figure in the anti-vaccine movement, asserting a debunked link between vaccines and autism. He founded and chaired the Children's Health Defense Organization, known for disseminating vaccine misinformation. Despite extensive scientific evidence confirming vaccine safety and efficacy, Kennedy has continued to question their use. During his confirmation hearings for the position of Secretary of Health and Human Services, HHS, He claimed to support vaccinations, but did not fully acknowledge the established data on vaccine safety. COVID-19 and public health measures. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Kennedy opposed mask mandates and promoted unproven treatments like hydrochloroquine and ivermectin. He also propagated conspiracy theories suggesting that figures like Dr. Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates were attempting to profit from the pandemic. Administrative actions as HHS secretary. As HHS secretary, Kennedy implemented policies that alarmed public health experts. He initiated significant staff layoffs. So he's already been doing this. He's initiated significant staff layoffs within the department, including the removal of top vaccine officials, which many viewed as undermining vaccine credibility and public health infrastructure. Additionally, Kennedy blocked pro-vaccine data and downsized infectious disease programs and a measles outbreak, contributing to rising infection rates and vaccine skepticism. Family and public criticism. Okay, he's got some stuff there. I don't need to go through that. Let's go through his crazy RFK Jr. Anti-science claims. Make sure you guys smash that like button. We're going to be chilling for a while here. I'll get to your guys' comments in a second. I see the ad hominem attacks are pouring in. That's when I know I've beaten you, Trumpers, when those attacks are pouring in and you're not giving me justifications for why you support Trump. You just say, I support Trump, with no justifications. Where is my, let's see. Is it this one? Oh, yeah. Here we go. RFK Jr. has been associated with several positions and actions that contradict established scientific consensus. So we went through, here's one. Thimerosal and autism claims. So just to be a little more detailed on this, Kennedy has promoted the debunked theory that thimerosal, I think it's pronounced, a mercury-based preservative formerly used in vaccines, is linked to autism. He authored Thimerosal, Let the Science Speak, advocating for its removal despite scientific evidence affirming its safety. Children's Health Defense. As chairman of this organization, Kennedy has disseminated misinformation about vaccine safety, contributing to vaccine hesitancy. So this guy is he's literally doing some pretty evil shit. When you cause parents to be vaccine hesitant about their children, it directly puts them at risk, which I think is a form of child abuse. Children should have the right to be protected from vicious diseases that we already have safe vaccines for. It should be a right. COVID-19 vaccine misinformation. Okay, we already went through that. HIV/AIDS denialism. In his book, The Real Anthony Fauci, Kennedy questions the established link between HIV and AIDS, echoing discredited theories and misrepresenting scientific research. Opposition to fluoridation. Kennedy has expressed opposition to fluoridation of drinking water, a public health measure proven to reduce dental cavities. Wi-Fi and health claims. He has suggested that Wi-Fi exposure can compromise the blood-brain barrier, a claim not supported by definitive scientific research. Let me read that again, folks. He has suggested that Wi-Fi exposure, yes, the Wi-Fi in your home, can compromise the blood-brain barrier, a claim that is not supported by definitive scientific research. Chemtrail conspiracy theory. Kennedy has endorsed the debunked chemtrail conspiracy theory, which falsely alleges that airplane contrails are chemical agents deliberately released into the atmosphere. Medical racism conspiracy theories. He has produced content targeting Black Americans with misinformation, suggesting that vaccination efforts are experiments on Black communities, therefore exploiting historical medical injustices to promote vaccine hesitancy. That has got to be one of his most evil endeavors. Again, targeting Black Americans with misinformation, suggesting that vaccination efforts are experiments on Black communities, thereby exploiting historical medical injustices to promote his vaccine hesitancy. Absolutely brutal. This, and people ask, oh, why the anti-RFK Jr. tour? He's fine. He's cool. No, he's not. He is the king of anti-science and a spreader of misinformation. You guys, you really can't just get on your computer and find any of this shit out for yourself. You really need, okay, I'll give you my sources. This comes from factcheck.org, Snopes, PolitiFact, Genetic Literacy Project, which is a science publication, PBS, Times, Truth Out. Those are my sources. But this isn't like secret information that's hard to find. Do a little work, get on your computer. Someone's like, it is hilarious you have 400 people here hating on you. It doesn't matter to me how many people hate on me for promoting the actual information. It doesn't change what's true. It could be 50 million people in here hating on me for espousing what is true. It doesn't change the fact of what is true. So I don't care. I really don't care. I gave you, I'll give you all of my sources if you really need to. Like, this stuff shouldn't be, I understand that it's shocking to hear this stuff because it's not in your algorithm. It's not in the cult-like messaging that Trumpism lives in. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news for you, but RFK Jr. is the king of anti-science. If you like science, if you think science is important, he's the king of anti-science. He is the Satan of science, if I need to put it that way for all of the hardcore Bible-thumping Christians in the room. He is the Satan of science, literally. And let me go through some of your comments. I don't think any of you have dropped any good justifications for why you support Trump. Dana McWhite, thank you so much for the super chat, $9.99. If we have safe vaccinations, why are there no studies on them? What are you talking about? What are you talking about that there's no studies on vaccinations? I'm going to go through your question and we're going to get the information. Why was there a spike in autism when vaccines came out? Why do countries have no mandatory vaccines? Why do countries with no mandatory vaccines don't have autism rates like America? Yikes. Okay. So your claims and your questions allude to several common myths about vaccines and autism. We're going to go through them here. Claim 1. If we have safe vaccinations, why are there no studies on them? There are thousands of studies on vaccine safety, literally thousands. These studies are conducted by independent researchers, universities, government agencies like the CDC, FDA, NIH, and international health organizations like the WHO. For example, the Institute of Medicine, IOM, now the National Academy of Medicine, conducted extensive reviews of vaccine safety. The CDC maintains a public database of all studies on vaccine safety and side effects. I'm going to drop a link for you guys. The Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, VAERS, and the Vaccine Safety Data Link are systems specifically for monitoring vaccine outcomes and studying safety in real time. So the conclusion here is that the idea that vaccines are, quote, not studied is demonstrably false. Here is the link to, okay, here's the new link. Here's the vaccine safety link right here for all of you to check. Control C, Control V. There you go. Now we're going to deal with, and if anyone wants me to deal directly with their questions or anything like that, please put them. If you send a super chat, I'll get to it for sure. I won't miss it. Claim 2 or question 2. Why was there a spike in autism when vaccines came out? This is misleading and inaccurate. Vaccines did not cause the spike in autism. The most often cited example is the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. The 1998 study that first claimed a link was fraudulent and has been retracted. When it gets retracted, forget about it. It was fraudulent. Don't keep bringing it up like RFK Jr. It's been retracted. Its author, Andrew Wakefield, lost his medical license for this. Why autism diagnosis increased. Broader diagnostic criteria in the 1990s and 2000s. That's a huge reason. So there's a broader diagnostic criteria that started in the 1990s and even more so in the 2000s. Inclusion of Asperger's and other autism spectrum disorders. Increased awareness and better tools for identifying autism. The science has gotten better. Our ways of identifying autism has gotten better. Shifts in diagnoses. Children who may have previously been diagnosed with intellectual disabilities or language disorders are now more accurately being classified. Okay, one more time. Shifts in diagnoses. Children who may have previously been diagnosed with intellectual disabilities or language disorders are now more accurately classified. Multiple large studies across different countries like Denmark, Japan, and the US have found no connection between vaccines and autism. So the conclusion here, the rise in autism diagnoses is due to better awareness and broader definitions, not vaccines. Question 3 that you asked, why do countries with no mandatory vaccines not have autism rates like America? This is a misleading comparison. Many countries with no mandatory vaccines still have high vaccine coverage. For example, Japan does not mandate vaccines but has very high voluntary vaccination rates and similar autism rates. Autism rates are difficult to compare internationally because diagnostic practices differ from country to country, like we just talked about in the last question. Some countries underreport or underdiagnose due to lack of resources or cultural stigma. The US has better screening and diagnosis systems, which may artificially appear as higher autism rates. High-income countries with good healthcare systems tend to have higher reported autism rates, not because more kids have autism, but because more kids are diagnosed correctly. So the conclusion here, autism rates are tied to diagnostic resources and healthcare access, not vaccine policies. So to summarize, the scientific consensus is vaccines do not cause autism. Vaccines save lives by preventing deadly diseases. Vaccine safety is heavily studied, monitored, and updated regularly. There you go. Answer to your question. Okay, explain the Cutter incident. You didn't provide any studies but manufacturer studies for approval. You will never find long-term study, and you're lying about that retraction. No, the retraction is true. If you don't believe it, then I'm sorry. You're going to have to go and find the information yourself. If you have something counter to that to show me that it's untrue, then I'll take a look at it. But you don't. Thank you again for the super chat, Dana McWhite. We'll keep going at this as long as you want. You say explain the Cutter incident. Okay, let's go through this. So you said explain the Cutter incident. Let's go. Yes, the Cutter incident in 1955 was real. Here's what happened. Cutter Laboratories accidentally released polio vaccines that contained live virus due to a manufacturing error. Over 200,000 children received this faulty vaccine. About 40,000 developed mild polio, 200 were paralyzed, and 10 died. So yes, that incident occurred. But here's the key. This wasn't a failure of the vaccine concept. It was a manufacturing failure. Okay, two very different things. The result, the US dramatically increased safety regulations for vaccine production, as they should. Today, vaccine manufacturing is subject to strict quality control, multi-phase testing, and regulatory oversight, far beyond what existed in 1955. So yes, the Cutter incident was tragic, and it led to today's robust vaccine safety systems. But this is all available. It's not like this is hidden. Claim to, you said you didn't provide any studies, only manufacturer studies for approval. This is false. Vaccine studies come from independent researchers, academic institutions, public health agencies, and global health organizations, like I outlined, not just manufacturers. And here are a few examples I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you guys the actual examples because this person seems to not know about this. That one's too long to post. Okay, here's one. Study 1, Mandison et al. 2002, Denmark title, a population-based study of measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination and autism. There's number 1, folks. Take a look at it. And again, what we are demonstrating here right now is that these are not just manufacturers, okay? They come from independent researchers, academic institutions, public health agencies, and global health organizations. There's the first study for you. Here's study 2, which is a 2014 meta-analysis by Taylor et al. Vaccines are not associated with autism, an evidence-based meta-analysis of case control and cohort studies. Here's number 2. Oh, is it too long to post the whole thing? Let me just shorten it a little bit. Okay, there. Good. Here's number 2. Make sure you smash that like button. Welcome, welcome. Study 3. Havid et al. Another one from Denmark. Okay, so there's 3 examples, but obviously if people want to find more examples, very easy to find. I'm just responding to this person who paid the $9.99 for the super chat, which I thank you very much for, and I'm happy to answer these questions. You also claimed you'll never find a long-term study. False. There are long-term studies. The idea that vaccines are never tested long-term is a myth. Vaccines are studied before approval in large-scale clinical trials, sometimes for years. Then they are continuously monitored after approval through 1, Vaccine Safety Data Link, VSD, ongoing data for millions of people, and post-marketing surveillance and cohort studies that follow people for decades. An example of this would be the Finnish MMR study from that spanned from 1982 to 1996. Followed children long-term after MMR vaccination, found no long-term effects or links to autism. I'm going to post this one for you guys as well. There you go. You can look up that study. It's publicly available. You said I was lying about the retraction. That is a false accusation. I was not lying. The 1998 Andrew Wakefield study was retracted officially by The Lancet. Quote from The Lancet, 2010, "We fully retract this paper from the published record." Here's the link. Everyone, feel free to take a look at it. This is a complete debunking. So in summary, we just we dealt with and again, thank you. Sorry, I forget their name. It was Dana McWhite or whatever. Are you the real Dana White? But the Cutter incident was misleading the way you presented it. It was a real event, but doesn't disprove vaccine safety today. You claim that there were no independent studies. That was false. There are dozens of large independent studies. We posted them. No long-term studies. That was false. Long-term studies exist and continue to this day. The Wakefield retraction, you said I made a false claim in saying that was retracted, but the study was formally retracted and discredited. So I hope you stop believing those things, Dana McWhite, that you claimed here today. If you disagree with any of the information I posted, I hope you will try to see if there is counter information to what I posted. That's how this should work. That's how, if we care about corresponding truth to objective reality. So my epistemology is set up where when it comes to truth, I rely for the most part on correspondence criteria, simply meaning that if someone claims, if the proposition is that the Statue of Liberty exists in New York City, that claim is true and should be accepted as true if, in fact, we can verify that the Statue of Liberty exists in New York City. Correspondence criteria truth, the philosophy of science and the scientific method is really grounded in this criteria. And then we want to go to justifications. And I'm describing my epistemological framework for you. So then we'll want to go to justification. Well, what kind of justification will we need to demonstrate that the Statue of Liberty exists in New York City? We would need evidence. So in correspondence criteria, much like science, we rely on evidence to correspond the claim and the proposition, okay? And then ultimately we would have to believe that. And am I satisfied from the truth and the justification? Does it actually cause me to adopt a positive belief in the proposition that the Statue of Liberty exists in New York City? Yes, it does. So I believe the Statue of Liberty exists in New York City. I am justified because of the evidence. And I know it's true based on the correspondence criteria of truth. So within that trifecta, I now have knowledge. I know that the Statue of Liberty exists in the United States of America. That is my epistemological framework. And then Dana McWhite says, no, they skip double-blind placebo long-term study criteria. I'm going to go with it again. And again, thank you so much for the super chat. Everyone, I have to applaud what Dana McWhite is doing, not just because he's throwing money my way, but because he has legitimate questions and concerns about this, and he's not afraid to bring them up and have them challenged. So please give a round of applause for Dana McWhite for doing so. It's an important thing. Okay. So your claim is, no, they skipped the double-blind placebo long-term criteria study. This is false and misleading, and let's break it down. So first, let's look at what is a double-blind placebo-controlled study. It's a gold standard clinical trial where, double-blind, neither the participants nor the researchers know who is getting the real treatment or the placebo. Placebo-controlled means a group receives an inactive substance for comparison. Long-term, participants are followed over time to check for safety and effectiveness. These kinds of trials are absolutely done for vaccines. So the fact is that vaccines do go through double-blind placebo trials. Here are some of the examples of major vaccines and their double-blind placebo-controlled studies. Okay, I'm going to drop Yeah, here we go. Because I want you guys to have the link. I have to delete a little bit of information in the actual copy and paste here because it's too long for the YouTube chat. Actually, I'll do it like this. I'll give the link. So delete, boom, and boom. There you go. There's the first one. And again, we are giving examples of double-blind placebo trials for vaccines. There we go. There's number 2, which is the rotavirus vaccine 2006 design, double-blind placebo-controlled sample size of over 70,000 infants across 11 countries. 70,000 infants across 11 countries. So everyone, this information is all available to you. I'm not pulling it from some special underground source. I will give you my sources after I post this next one. And here's the HPV vaccine, Gardasil, double-blind placebo-controlled. This was over 20,000 young women. Right there. So now here's something very important, that long-term study or long-term safety monitoring does not end with approval. Even after clinical trials, vaccines undergo phase 4. Don't forget phase 4, post-marketing surveillance. CDC's Vaccine Safety Data Link, VSD, tracks vaccine outcomes in millions of people over years. The Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, VAERS, detects any rare long-term issues. Multiple studies follow up 5, 10, even 20 years later. Example of this would be the HPV vaccine, has over 15 years of safety data confirming no major long-term risks. I'm going to post that just to make sure you can see this. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you are subscribed. We are promoting the anti-Trump and anti-RFK Jr. debate tours. We hope to see you guys there. We're first going to be in Detroit in 21 days, actually. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've already sold 175 tickets. Let's get some more tickets sold. It's a decent sized venue, so I went with this a bit larger venue just to gauge what kind of audience we would be expecting on this tour, and then we'll adjust the tour after Detroit to what that poll is kind of like. Okay, there's one more point to this. The question of why aren't all vaccines tested with placebos in every situation? In some cases, placebo-controlled trials would be unethical, especially when a proven effect vaccine already exists. Denying people the vaccine would risk their health. Polio, measles, COVID-19 in high-risk populations. In those cases, researchers use active controls, comparing new vaccine to existing vaccine, and observational studies with massive sample sizes, millions of people over years. This is all good science, and it is how most modern medicine is tested when placebo trials aren't ethical. So the final verdict on what Dana McWhite posted here, this last post, and it was, let me go back. It was that, no, they skipped the double-blind placebo long-term study criteria. Is that vaccines, the claim was vaccines skip double-blind placebo trials. This is false. Many vaccines do use these trials before approval. Vaccines lack long-term data. This is false. Many are followed for years or decades. And then the quote, all vaccines must use placebo. This is misleading, not ethical or necessary when proven vaccines already exist. So again, we should when we see these claims, when we see these questions being asked, and then we get the actual information back, and I'm going to give you my sources right now. So this is coming from the New England Journal of Medicine. So a couple from the New England Journal of Medicine, PubMed, CDC, FDA, and yep, that's it. That's where all of this stuff was pulled from. So if you want to, for example, go to the New England Journal of Medicine, type that into Google, click on it, and you can have access to anything you want in this website. Everything's accessible. It's a great resource. I'll give you guys the link. All right. Well, we're almost at an hour. I never want to go too far past an hour. I want to thank Dana McWhite for the super chats and the questions. It was a good opportunity to show that there are some legitimate questions out there and concerns, and that there are legitimate answers to those concerns. And I hope this episode we can take that away from this, and don't just believe what people are telling you about this, of all of this anti-vax, vaccine hesitancy stuff. Actually, it's not so much about like trying to do your own research, because honestly, a lot of people don't know how to do their own research. It's just true. But find yourself some reputable sources to just read some colloquialized information. I really suggest MedCram. If you're someone who uses YouTube a lot, there's a channel called MedCram that'll give you some detailed breakdowns in a very colloquial way of what's going on in virology with regards to vaccines. I really like Debunk the Funk, Dr. Dan Wilson, who's going to be featured on our tour with Professor Dave Explains, Dave Farina. Really, you can rely on these people to give you good information, and do check it. Learn to check this information, but check it to see if it's actually correct, and try to understand the consensus. And a lot of these websites, like the New England Journal of Medicine, are going to give you good summaries. The CDC is going to give you a good summary of these issues. So, you don't need to become a virologist to understand all of this, or someone who has a really dangerous amount of knowledge of virology and thinks they're applying it correctly. You can get tongue-tied and twisted up and believing misinformation in no time if you try to do that. So find yourself some good reputable sources. Even search what have been demonstrated to be good scientific sources on the internet, and find. It's not necessarily about doing your own research, because most of us here are not virologists. We don't know how to research things in virology. Most of us here are not scientists. We don't know how to research things in science properly. But you should have a good enough grasp on logic that you'll be able to understand, like nature.org or nature.com's press releases on new scientific findings. You can understand that stuff. So find yourself some good resources. I think that was a very successful episode. Thank you so much. Smash the like button. I hope to see you in Detroit. I hope to see you in Charleston, South Carolina, where we invade South Carolina with science and reason, a celebration of science and reason in the form of an anti-RFK Jr. tour. Thank you so much for joining me. And just remember, this is Pangburn.